Why we are wanting to meditate is the mind must come to a state of calmness, deep awareness, by which it is able to concentrate on the task at hand. 2 minutes 24 seconds of riveted attention on a single object is dhyan. That is meditation. If you are able to achieve that, the mind will gradually cross that bar of 144 seconds also and plunge into samadhi. This is no joke. Think and see. There is one whole chapter in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras dedicated to what happens when you do samyama on particular objects. It leads to siddhis. For most people, they are not actually thinking. Thinking is happening. It's a compulsive habit with them that it's just going on and on and on in the head, and they get stressed out. A whole lot of people suffer from negativities and depression just because they can't control the thought mechanism. So if we are deeply conscious, it's possible to bring thinking into our hands, and the organized mind can be manufactured. The organized mind will lead you to your goals, will give you success anywhere, but the unorganized mind is not going to do that. The practice of yoga can bring supernatural powers, but avoid them.
Welcome to Under the Tree.
Thank you for having me here. Om asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityon ma amritam gamaya. Om shanti shanti shanti.
To start off this conversation, I would like to dive into mind management and practical solutions that the viewers could learn from. According to you, what is the true definition of the mind and the growing subject of positive psychology?
Mind management is the topic nowadays. Everyone is asking for it because I work with some universities and lots of students, and they are all asking for mind management. Okay. So we have very deep ideas on mind. What exactly is mind? Actually speaking, mind is nothing but a bundle of thoughts. Your thought mechanism, you are when you try to give a context to it, a kind of so there's something in which thoughts happen. You call it mind. But if you go deeper into it, you will see there's nothing called mind if there are no thoughts.
Yes.
Which means to say thoughts, we are calling the matrix of thought mind.
Okay.
But if there are no thoughts, if by some process you are able to stall thoughts, thinking, there's no mind.
Okay.
When this is the truth about the mind, then you see when we use a term like mind management, we are trying to actually ask for how are we going to control thoughts, the thought mechanism. And this is very, very important because for most people, they are not actually thinking. Thinking is happening. It's a compulsive habit with them that it's just going on and on and on in the head, and they get stressed out, and a whole lot of people suffer from negativities and depression just because they can't control the thought mechanism.
They can't focus.
That's when we start asking mind management. So I would say positive psychology has thrown tremendous insights. The very purpose of positive psychology has been to lay emphasis on the positive experiences given by the mind.
Exactly.
Especially happiness. Why should psychology only focus on the negative mind, the sick mind?
Yeah.
You should also study the healthy mind, the mind radiating happiness and awareness, the mind of a Vivekananda, of a Buddha. Yeah. So positive psychology is bringing that into mainstream psychological dialogue, which is something very interesting.
It is.
Yes.
Definitely. And because I'm so happy you mentioned the topic of thoughts, because at least for me, I realized recently, like a year or two ago, how the constant stress, constant thoughts, the monkey mind, it's constantly there, but we don't realize it. Like you said, that we think we're focusing and we think we're doing it, and we think that, because we're stressed out, we are giving hard work and effort. But in reality, that stress is coming from the fact that our thoughts are everywhere.
That's true.
And not only just the thoughts itself, but also the negative thoughts. So according to you, how would one be able to not only eliminate, but how can one manage those negative thoughts that are coming? Because not only does that affect their own efficiency, their own productivity, but it obviously affects the way they they communicate with other people and humans around them, you know?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's an important question.
Yeah.
Most relevant to our times, actually.
Yeah.
So I would say, see, yoga psychology sees it like this. We divide mind into what you can call the organized mind and the unorganized mind.
Okay.
There are these two types of minds. An organized mind, what are the characteristics of an organized mind? The thought flow is not like too much. It's meager. It happens as you want it to be. And it only happens because you are deeply conscious. You are thinking the thoughts you want to think.
Yes.
See, consciousness contributes to mind management. We should not miss this point. If you are deeply conscious, you will think what you want to think. If you are not conscious, not deeply conscious, just compulsive, the thought mechanism is no more in your hands. It's just going on and on and on. So that's the disorganized mind, you can say.
Yes. Yes.
Completely out of hand. So when you're driving the car of your life, you must be on the driver's seat. So if we are deeply conscious, it's possible to bring thinking into our hands. And the organized mind can be manufactured. And if we are not conscious deeply, many people are just unconscious for most part of the time, or very little, very poorly conscious, you could say. So then mind management becomes difficult.
Okay.
And of course, the organized mind will lead you to your goals, will give you success anywhere, but the unorganized mind is not going to do that. It will lead you just anywhere. You're riding the waves of indeterminate thought.
No, definitely. That really makes sense. And you mentioned becoming deeply conscious. According to you, does that mean it's important for one to do meditation or japa?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And how would you recommend, like, according to you, what is the significance of doing meditation or japa? Like, for viewers that are watching and are interested in spirituality and are kind of confused maybe, because as you know, there's so many different kinds of meditations. There's silent meditation, there's chanting, and some people, they're not from the Indian Sanatan Dharam, or maybe are not connected with Vedanta like we are. What would you say to them? How could they get into meditation?
Well, there are different types of meditation, no doubt, but the fundamental thing about meditation, why we are wanting to meditate, is the mind must come to a state of calmness, deep awareness, by which it is able to concentrate on the task at hand.
Yes.
And you can do it by practicing techniques. The general technique of meditation is always you concentrate at a particular center of consciousness on a particular object, which is preferably always divine, some holy object, and you just rivet your attention on that for a fixed period of time. And if you're able to do that, there are different levels of this meditation. It starts from dharana, then dhyan. It can even go to samadhi. If you are able to do this, you will discover facts about your own being, existence, which are otherwise it's almost impossible for the mind to trace its source.
Wow. Yes. Yes.
So awareness comes to the forefront automatically. In fact, the very definition of yoga, it's the very purpose of yoga is in the first 4 sutras of Yoga Sutras. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. That's the best manual, I would say, on mind management. So there he's telling us the very purpose of yoga. Here by yoga, I mean meditation. Not the physical exercises.
Yes.
So the very purpose of meditation is you are bringing awareness to the forefront and receding thoughts in the mind. That's why yogas to chitta vritti nirodha. The purpose of that is to bring awareness to the forefront. Otherwise, we are riding the waves of thoughts without knowing what is happening. So it's a very practical way of entering into it. But you see, this is the link between yoga and Vedanta. If you are deeply conscious from within, if you manage to do that through all these disciplines, through preliminary meditative practices, if you become deeply conscious from within, you will get charge over your thoughts, over your mind.
Okay. Wow.
So I think that is the whole point of meditation.
No, I definitely agree. Yeah. Personally, for me, meditation completely changed my life. My mom, when I was a few years ago, when my mom actually, she got into spirituality much before than I did. And she used to tell me, Aryan, do meditation. It's very important to not just for your acting career, but also just for you as a human being. Like you said, allows you to connect and know the source. And I always used to be like, no, Mom, nothing is going to happen with meditation. It's just going to waste my time. I was very skeptical in the beginning. I was very skeptical. But when I got admitted into NYU Tisch, I studied film there, acting. The first day of class that they made us do before we even started acting was meditation.
That's right.
And I was completely shocked. And it wasn't just a first day thing. Every single day before our classes start, we would meditate.
Wow.
And I asked my teacher, because I was very concerned, like, why are we meditating? And she was like, Aryan, as an actor, you have to realize your current state is a monkey mind state. You have so many thoughts in your head.
That's right.
How can you expect to give 100% justice to a character and portray something when you're not present in the moment? And that made me realize that it's not just about being present for acting, but being present is important for your own life. And not just for your own life, but to actually become happy. And I wanted to talk to you about happiness, because that is at least not only in the US, but so many other countries, mental illness, people are struggling with mental illness. The pharmaceutical industry, people are taking pills, not going against that, but they're being dependent on pills. The suicide rate is only going up. What is true happiness according to you?
Yeah, that was a beautiful observation you made. See, mental illness is the pathological or genetic reasons are besides the point. It's only because they can't handle mind.
Exactly.
That's the point. So when it comes to happiness, happiness also relates with awareness. Okay. In fact, if you ask me a single sentence definition of happiness, I would say it's an exponential function of your awareness.
Okay.
I was recently in IISC, Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore, and there we were discussing these points, how consciousness relates to happiness, how consciousness relates to mind management, to focus, to concentration, to memory. If there's mind management, there should be time management, relationship management, this ambiguity, workplace ambiguity management, how it relates to all of this, and to your emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, and all the different intelligence quotients, how it relates to all. Consciousness is the whole point, that's why Vedanta is the actual essence of life. It's a study of consciousness, it's a science of consciousness. Because consciousness relates to all these factors. If you are deeply conscious within yourself, by yourself, all these are taken care of. Mind management will not be a problem at all. And why I'm saying happiness is an exponential function of your awareness is because the deeper your awareness, the more stability your mind gets.
Okay.
And it will reflect the inner joy. When it is very stable, it reflects the inner joy, the inner happiness. Okay. In our philosophies, you see, they always said, the Atman is the source of all bliss. The self is the source of bliss. The mind is totally confused and unstable. So it's not able to reflect that bliss. So I need an object to keep me happy. But this is not the actual state of affairs. If you can invoke the power of the self, just through you either use inquiry or meditation, any technique, so that you become deeply conscious, you will see mind management, happiness, all this is, ultimately you realize this only, it's all very easy to do this. And you realize that happiness is nothing but, it's an expression of your inner being. And reflected in a pure mind, in a stable mind, but superimposed maybe on an object temporarily, but you will understand that it's all in me already.
Wow. Beautifully said.
Yeah, spiritual life means you understand you're complete within yourself. It gives you great inner strength. You don't have to lean on somebody to be happy and balanced and all that.
Wow, I'm so happy what you just said. Happiness is like the expression of your inner being. I totally relate with that. Recently I was watching these documentaries. I don't know if Tom Shadak, he's a director, and mostly he's made comedy films. He directed Ace Ventura, a lot of Jim Carrey movies. And he had an accident, a close near-death experience that made him very spiritual and questioned life. He made 2 documentaries. One was called I Am, where he interviewed a bunch of spiritual leaders questioning who you truly are. The second documentary that came out in 2011 was called Happy. And he basically went to a bunch of people, not only from spiritual backgrounds, but from scientific backgrounds, to question what is true happiness. It was a 1-2 hour documentary, and I was watching and I was like, wow. And it wasn't marketed that much, and I don't think many people even know about it. But my mom kind of made me research it a little bit. She kind of inspired me to get into this. And I was watching it, and what you said, that it's an expression of the inner being, they kind of talked about that in the documentary as well. But they also kind of talked about like scientific experiments and stuff like that kind of show what happiness is. I wanted to dive a little bit between the connection of science and spirituality. Now that we're talking about this, do you believe that science and spirituality are like hand in hand? Like, could they support each other? Is it important for science to continue their experiments, continue their research, especially because nowadays scientists like Daniel Hoffman, there's so many people, they're researching about consciousness and the importance of it and what it truly is, how time isn't what we really think it is, all these things. Do you think it's important what science is doing? Maybe will that help, I guess, not justify the spirituality? Will it help spread the message and make the current generation and the people that are trying to get into spirituality maybe dive into it quicker or in an easier way?
I'll just start with an experiment which was conducted, I think, in New York State University only.
Okay.
A long time back. They wanted to study the effects of meditation.
Yes, I think I heard this.
And they asked Dalai Lama to send his monks, long meditators they were.
Okay.
And a number of monks were sent there. And they wanted to take fMRI scans of the brain in the depths of meditation. How does it behave? And what radiation it throws out. And you know what they found? Like one monk who was like a deep meditator, okay? They have practiced hours and hours of meditation for long years. So he was asked to meditate, and just a thought of loving kindness he brought it into his mind. And at once they found, now they were looking at the scans, what his brain is radiating. They found his prefrontal cortex, it ignited. And such intense gamma radiation coming out of it. And the scientists were so surprised, and they said, he's the happiest guy on earth.
Wow.
Now look, he doesn't know anything about neuroscience or the way, he doesn't have an object to create that state of mind. He only knows the first person research that leads to happiness. He has only meditated. And he has conditioned his entire system in such a way that his brain shows how happy he is.
Exactly.
So you see, this way science is coming to the understanding that the first person perspective is very important. In fact, you are asking me where science and spirituality can meet. Science is, the very nature of science is to study the object. But the deepest things in life are subjective. Think of it, awareness, love, peace, everything is subjective. So then there must be a science of, you could say, subjective science. And that is what spirituality caters to.
Exactly.
Yes. So, but the method of research here, that's why I don't say like science and spirituality are the same. The method of research here is subjective. It is the first person research method. You try to find out things through first person research. See, there's a name for this, it's called phenomenology. It's an established method of research in philosophy. Phenomenology. It means how does something feel to me is the most important data you can garner about a subjective experience. So we call Vedanta existential phenomenology. Today, I'm teaching this existential phenomenology in many universities. It is nothing but doing phenomenology on the nature of your existence itself, not on the nature of your thought or emotion or anything of the mind, on the nature of my existence itself. So when I ask these fundamental questions, what is awareness? Who am I truly? What is the unchanging substratum of my being? When I ask these existential questions, if I can phenomenologically try to find out the answer, through the first person perspective, through a meditative process, through deep inquiry, I will come at, the real crux of the matter, which is it has to do with my awareness, with my consciousness, with the clarity of my mind. It has to do with that, this kind of research.
Wow.
So today, gradually it is seeping into mainstream science, the first person perspective. I can tell you that because, now there's a combination method of first person research and third person research combined called neurophenomenology. We are teaching that also along with this, just to show that, you see, these two can come together, science and spirituality. A whole lot of scientists, they understand the value of the spiritual life. The deepest things in your life are subjective. Knowing this, there must be a science of consciousness. And, with our study of Vedanta and the real heart of yoga, if you study these systems of philosophy, you will see they are providing the fundamental matrix for a science of consciousness. In fact, Vedanta is the science of consciousness. And yoga is the technology of consciousness, giving you methods to realize that science.
Wow, beautifully said. I wanted to, because you didn't mention yoga. The reason I want to talk about it is because recently, at least in US, a lot of the Western part of the world, the word yoga is kind of being distorted. There's different forms of yoga. I'm not saying that this is right and that's wrong, but obviously I would love to ask you and for you to maybe let the viewers know what yoga actually means. Because you got hot yoga, you have so many different kinds of yoga happening. So what truly is yoga?
Yeah. I've even heard of doga. You do yoga with your dog and it's called doga.
There's infinite options now. Yeah. So
the point of yoga is, the heart of yoga lies in what we call samyama, which is dharana, dhyan and samadhi with focus on one particular object. If you can attain these states, dharana, it's part of Ashtanga Yoga. Dharana, dhyan and samadhi. Dharana, if you have riveted attention for 12 seconds on one particular object, you call it the dharana state. Your mind is able to hold the object for 12 seconds continuously, like oil being poured, it's one stream, it goes from the cup. Like exactly. That. There's no break.
No break.
No intermittency there. So that is dharana. Once you master this state, 12 seconds of riveted attention, you become capable of dhyan, meditation. That is yoga. Dhyan means the definition in Patanjali Yoga Sutras is the best. Pratyaya ekatanata, which means your thought now has become like a stretched out single thing, uniting the meditator and the object meditated upon. So this pratyaya ekatanata, which means now you are completely riveted on the object of meditation, it comes if you are able to do 12 dharanas. 12 into 12, which is 144 seconds of riveted attention. This is no joke. Think and see. 2 minutes, 24 seconds of riveted attention on a single object. That is dhyan. That is meditation. And if you are able to achieve that, the mind will gradually cross that bar of 144 seconds also and plunge into samadhi. With practice and meditation comes this ability to transcend mind itself. So now you know by being the thing. It's knowing by being. Your awareness comes to the forefront completely. You can't even say forefront or anything like that. Now you become fully aware. That's the first person experience. You started with concentration on an object. You sort of plunged into the object and became fully conscious.
Wow. You also, just a couple seconds back, you mentioned Patanjali Sutras. I wanted to talk about that just because I have a personal experience with them. I recently did a transcendental meditation program in Hyderabad only. It was a global event, like over 10,000 people were there.
Wow.
And it was the Siddhi program actually. And we've been doing TM for a while now, a couple of years. And the Siddhi program, they gave us a lot of sutras that were based on the Patanjali Sutras. But I wanted to ask you about this because basically at a certain point, we did meditation. It was like a couple of weeks. And at a certain point, we were all able to do yogic flying. In a way, we were able to levitate a little bit. I wanted to talk to you about that. According to you, what are Siddhis? What are the significance of Siddhis? And how could it be applicable to the people and the viewers that are watching right now that want to, know more about themselves and attain that state of happiness,
Right.
Yeah.
So if you want to know more about yourself and attain to complete happiness, you must keep away from Siddhis.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to know.
Sri Ramakrishna used to always recommend this. There is one whole chapter in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras dedicated to what happens when you do samyama on particular objects. It leads to Siddhis.
Yes.
It leads to such acuteness of attention, a whole lot of miracles can happen around you.
True.
It's a perfect possibility for the yogic mind. But we may get caught up with the things, the wonderful things we can do and not actually aim at self-knowledge. This can happen.
Okay.
So that's why they say you must close that chapter. You must keep away from Siddhis. Sri Ramakrishna always recommended this, that the practice of yoga can bring supernatural powers, but avoid them.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I was very curious, because at one point I was thinking that, the goal is for self-realization, as you said. Happiness, it's an expression of your inner being. So beautifully said. And that's why I was wondering that if we focus on Siddhis and that could also become a trap, a
huge trap.
And it could distract us from the true goal. That's the true goal, which is enlightenment, which is self-realization. I wanted to talk to you. According to you, what is the connection of focus and mindfulness?
Oh, wow. Beautiful questions. See, when it comes to focus, you must first understand what is attention. Okay. What is it that we are calling attention? I hit upon this definition only through meditation, the practice of meditation. Attention is nothing but a beam of your awareness that filters into your mind guided by your will.
Okay.
Because it is a beam of your awareness only, when you pay complete attention, like you do in meditation, you will become fully aware from within. Because the very definition of attention is it is a beam of your awareness.
Yes.
Filtering into your mind through the power of your will. So if you can rivet this attention, I tell you, you fix your attention on an object, you will at some point become fully aware within yourself. Okay. Attention leads to awareness. This is the point yoga is trying to make. What Vedanta says is, you can directly go into that state through inquiry. Yes, if you are of that type, definitely. Just in deep inquiry, very knowledge-oriented mind, concentration is already there. Just deep inquiry, you automatically go into it. Wow. Like if you said, put your attention on the witness consciousness.
Yes.
I am. What is that I? What is that am? You'll automatically go there. You need a very stable mind, of course. Otherwise, after some time, it will start wandering. So what we do is we train the mind through yoga, and then the mind itself makes way for Vedanta. This is the general path followed. Because Vivekananda, he used to say, you use the yogas. See, the self is already there. What we are calling the Atman, pure consciousness, you are already that. But I don't realize it just now because I'm strongly identified with body and mind. So he used to say, the goal is already existing. You know how he defined religion? Religion is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. And each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest that divinity and do it through any of these yogas, either by work, worship, psychic control, philosophy, by one or all of these or combinations of these, and reach the goal. And this is the whole of religion. And books, temples, doctrines, dogmas, bells are all secondary details. Wow. So you use yoga to train the mind to make way for Vedanta. Most people need this, let me tell you, because I work with students. I clearly see this, Aryan, you should see it in the class, the turbulent energy of an overactive mind. It just hits you in the class. So first we have to give them some calming technique before you introduce Vedanta. Some calming technique, somewhere the mind must become placid and calm, and you become fully conscious and riveted to the present moment.
Exactly.
Then only you can grasp. Then you see truth is so obvious. Vedanta is direct insight into truth. It's the ultimate thing.
Yeah.
It's the most natural, obvious thing. And it's so simple also.
Yeah.
You just corner the I am sense in you, you will come to the knowledge of the Atman.
Yeah.
Because I indicates consciousness, am is existence. It's most obvious. But our minds are complicated.
Wow. Yes, I agree.
That's why you require training in yoga. Some level of training always helps. So this is the way we are trying to manage the whole thing,
Yeah. No, what you just said, I'm so happy you talked about this. You just stated that it's important that before we even start learning about Vedanta, right, which is the ultimate, of course, it's important to build your foundation.
Yes.
That you need to be able to be fit to grasp that information, which is so important that you calm your mind, you get to that state. And meditation helps with that. Meditation is that technique that can get you there. Just like in any, whether it's a career, whether you're going to college, want to get a job, you have to learn certain stuff. You start at a certain point in order to build your education level to a point where you can do the work properly and actually grasp that. So, so beautifully said. Thank you so much, Mataji, for this enlightening conversation. I truly hope the viewers that are watching this video right now take even 1% from this. It will truly bring them closer to the ultimate truth. Thank you.
Thank you. Your questions were very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.